When they reached the junction, Thomas's driver called out to a signalman who was waiting for them. "Where are we to go with this flat truck?" he asked. The signalman shouted his reply and pointed. "But that's where the dragon is," said Thomas anxiously. "And he might not be asleep this time." The signalman chuckled when he heard this. "Don't worry, Thomas, it won't eat you," he said. "It's not really a dragon, it's only a model dinosaur. It looks real, but it's just made of wooden plaster." Thomas felt a little reassured by this. "And it doesn't breathe fire and smoke," continued the signalman, laughing. "Only engines do that." Thomas chugged along happily through the countryside. "What's a dinosaur?" he asked. He'd never heard of a dinosaur before. He wondered if it might be an animal you'd find in a zoo, or perhaps in a faraway country. "It's a prehistoric animal which lived millions of years ago," explained his driver. "They don't exist any longer," he continued, "except in museums." "Oh, that's all right then," said Thomas. "Percy said it was a fire-breathing dragon which ate engines. He'd heard me and James about it the other day in the engine shed when we were waiting to be taken out. I wasn't sure whether to believe him or not," he continued, "but he seemed so very sure of himself. I'll have to find a way to pay him back." His driver laughed. "Well, you don't need to worry about it now, Thomas. That dinosaur's an exhibit for his show at the top station," he said. "The lorry carrying it broke down, so we've got to take it instead." "How exciting," said Thomas, starting to understand at last. "So that's why we needed the flat truck." We reached the dinosaur place. 3 workmen busy. "Look at those men," called Thomas. The workmen had climbed carefully onto the dinosaur's huge humpback back and were fixing strong chains round the model. When they had secured the chains tightly, 2 men climbed down from the dinosaur, leaving the foreman balanced on the dinosaur's back. He looked up and made a hand signal to something in the sky. At that moment, Thomas heard a whirring sound. He looked up to see that Harold, the helicopter, has come up too. "Hello, Harold," he peeped. "Have you come to help with the dinosaur?" "Yes, I have, Thomas," laughed Harold. "Except it's a shame that it isn't a dragon," he continued, "because then it would be able to fly away by itself." Thomas did not appreciate the joke. As Harold covered carefully above the dinosaur, he lowered a hook down to the workman below. The workman caught the hook and fastened it to the chains on the model dinosaur. Then, at a signal, Harold lifted the model very slowly and very carefully. Up and up it hovered slowly, rising from the ground. The dinosaur looked as if it was floating. "Oh, Harold," chuckled Thomas, "you do look funny." "Just you wait until you had to pull the dinosaur back to the station," Harold replied, "and you look even funnier." Harold carefully carried the dinosaur over the hedge and towards Thomas's waiting truck. Then, very gently, he lowered it down onto the flat bed of the truck. There was a jolt as it came to land safely. Then the workman made sure that it would not slip during the journey by tying it with strong chains. "Peep, peep," whistled Thomas brightly. "The dinosaur express is ready to row." When everything was secure, Thomas set off. He was surprised to find that the dinosaurs were light, not very heavy, so he had an easy run. Children who were playing nearby ran away as if passed by with his unusual cargo load. Thomas felt very proud, rather proud as he chugged along. "I'll be the only engine in the shed to carry the dinosaur," he thought. "That should keep out Gordon quiet for a day or two." It was certainly one of the strangest sets he had ever been asked to carry, and it was causing quite a stir. Now, on their route at the middle station, they met Percy coming into the opposite direction. "Time to pay Percy back," thought Thomas to himself. Poor Percy didn't look very frightened when he saw what Thomas was carrying on his truck, something that was making him feel very frightened this morning. "Thomas," he called out in a trembling voice, "there's a dragon on your back. Watch out." Thomas laughed. "Don't worry, little Percy," he boasted. "Your dragon won't eat me. I've tamed him and trained him not to eat blue engines. He still eats green ones, though," he added mischievously. Replied Percy. "Don't you admit if those rounds, sir?" And he scuttled off, feeling very terrified to tell Henry and Duck. Thomas turned the corner towards the big top station to see a big crowd waiting for him. Everyone started to cheer and wave when they saw Thomas and his unusual cargo. The Fitkin trailer was there too, and the crane from the breakdown train was standing close by. Thomas did feel special, and of course he did feel very proud. "What a reception," he thought proudly. "I shall have to carry prehistoric passengers more often." Thomas pulled up next to the breakdown train. He could guess what might happen next. "1, 2, 3, left," ordered the fat controller. And very carefully the breakdown crane lifted the model dinosaur from Thomas's flat truck and over the fence into the nearby gardens. The huge model animal came to rest with a thump. Soon the model was transported safely to the exhibition site. It took its place with the other dinosaurs in a wonderful prehistoric scene. Thanks to Thomas and Harold, the star attraction was in place just in time. Now everything was ready for the grand opening. Thomas could hardly believe his eyes when he went past that day. He'd never seen such an extraordinary collection of strange beasts that were extinct from many years ago, when there was nothing, just cave people in caves, which had something that was made out of a hard stone. There was a thousand pterodactyl, a tough-looking triceratops, and a positively terrifying Tyrannosaurus Rex. King of the dinosaurs. Somehow, Thomas, laughed his fireman, I don't think Percy will be coming to visit.